Internet realm, I'm RedParagonG and... Whoa, I have a ponytail now. Shoot. Hello everyone, welcome back to Project 3 Erolenis, the series where I rework my 5-year-old Fakemon region. Speaking of reworks, I went ahead and gave myself a makeover. Not too much of a change, but I've learned a lot about myself last year and I wanted that to come through in this new design. It's always nice to look back at your prior years and see how far you've come. My general art skills have grown exponentially since 2018 and I couldn't be happier with the progress I've made. I'd like to thank those who stopped by any of my social outlets and shared their support. It means a lot to me. And now to make a U-turn back to the subject of today's video. More Fakemon! Last time we revealed our first ice type for Erolenis and gave brand new looks to 2 poison lines. This time we're making monsters that are no strangers to big changes. Bugs. They're everywhere. And they make for interesting Fakemon designs. We have a fair amount of bug types in Erolenis right now, but bugs are one of the most common creatures on Earth, so I wouldn't feel wrong to add a few more. In addition to sharing the same type, these Fakemon were also influenced by my interactions with Fear City Jim. If you've watched my Ultra collab video, then you're already familiar with this guy. He was the one that brought me on board for the challenge, but we've been genuine supporters of each other since before then. His Fakemon videos have been giving me inspiration lately, and it's evident in a lot of my recent work. The first idea came about when I watched a solo episode titled How Lousy of Me. The mention of lice reminded me of an older Fakemon I've made. Though while Jim's louse is an adorable roly-poly, mine was based on... well, this.
Oh jeez, oh crap, what the hell?
Oh, that's just gross.
Yeah, it was based on a head louse. Not exactly the most sanitary looking bug, especially since it's a parasite to humans. That said, I had the idea back then to create a Fakemon version of it, and thus, I came up with Lousnip. Doug, where's the bug? Oh, crap. Hold on a minute. Let's see. There we go. Okay, it's there. I forgot it's my smallest region native. Although for a time, it wasn't. When I first made it, it was the version-exclusive counterpart to Wigworm and Devourworm, but I initially scrapped it for the revival. After talking with Jim, however, I decided to bring it back with a brand new niche. Since I reworked the Rhinox line, we have an empty spot, so let's fill it up with another redesign. When we spoke about our 2 bugs, I brought up a video online that mentioned a few myths on head lice. One was that they were attracted to dirty hair, while the other was that they are attracted to clean hair. Neither of these are true, of course, lice like hair no matter what condition, but with a word from Jim, I used these myths as inspiration for Lousnip's new look. Lousnip on its own is not a terrible design, but it lacked a secondary theme that a lot of modern-day Pokemon have. So, I implemented a haircutting theme. Its mandibles will be shaped to look like 2 halves of a pair of scissors. I tried making the antennae look like that too, but later on I would scrap it in favor of motorized hair clippers. I struggled to make the head in general look good. With a design this simple, it's important to get every detail just right. I eventually succeeded and moved on to the rest of the body. I added little balls of fluff that resemble lint, cause, let's face it, that stuff gets in your scalp way too often. Plus the rounded fluff contrasted all of the sharper points in the design. The original color palette for Lousnip actually wasn't terrible, so I kept it and adjusted the shades and tones to provide more contrast. I also brought in Gray from Sword and Shield's normal type icon for the fluff. I figured with all the haircutting influences that normal would be a good dual type for it. Plus I have a really cool idea for how it could behave in battle. Lousnip, the trimming Pokemon, a bug normal type. This Pokemon is a parasite searching for a larger Pokemon to feed off of. It treats its host like a human household and will keep them clean and satisfied. And there we go! Here's the brand new Lousnip. Man, you can really see the difference when you compare each version. Again, the original isn't bad, but the new one works better for a modern Pokemon game. Due to its position in the Pokédex, it is unable to evolve, and I think we're better off for it. Lysical,
Do you know what makes you
an ice type?
No, neither do I.
To make up for this debatably sad fact, I gave it a new ability, Parasite. The way it works might take a bit of explaining though. I'd best describe it as a reverse color change, but it's a little deeper than that. If Lousnip makes contact with its foe, it swaps out its normal type with a type that the foe has. For example, if it were to touch a Ratamen, it'd be part poison type. It can't do this with bug types since it's already that type, and it can't do it with normal types unless it already swapped normal out. This ability pairs well with its high speed, fake out, and its signature move, Parasitic Bite. This is one of those moves whose type corresponds with the type of its user, like multi-attack. It's not exactly the strongest user of this gimmick, but it does make it more interesting as a single stage mon. I'm seriously lacking in these kinds of mons right now, so let's create another one. This next idea came after watching Jim's Bootleg Boutique series. As the name suggests, this series involves making Fakemon out of bootleg merch, and I wound up with these figures one odd Christmas morning. I figured I'd follow in Jim's footsteps and make a mon based on one of these toys, but none of them had that much potential, except for this Chikorita. It's far darker than normal Chikorita and has soulless black eyes. It looks like something out of a creepypasta. This makes it the perfect figure for me to redraw as an Erolenis Fakemon. Cue transition! To keep the theme consistent with Bootleg Boutique, I decided to sketch this design on top of a Chikorita silhouette. This made it easier for me to recontextualize it as a bug Pokemon. But what bug do I base it off of? I thought for a bit before settling on a horsefly. It's chubby enough to work with Chikorita's rounded shapes. There's another reason why I chose it, but we'll get to that later. I reinterpreted the leaf into a pair of long antennae. They also happen to resemble a jester's hat. The spots around Chikorita's neck were also changed to bits of rock. One of the bits seems to be missing though. I wonder why. Like with Lostlorn, the palette for this mon was easy to decide. I just took colors from the bootleg and desaturated them a bit. This mon is partially based around green sandstone and is part ground type as a result. I included a lighter shade of green for the antennae and wings, though this does change a bit in the final version. Flimfly, the trickster Pokemon, a bug ground type. An elusive Pokemon, Flimfly hides in sand mounds that it can control. It is mischievous and likes to pull pranks on nearby desert dwellers. Alright, allow me to introduce you to Flimfly! Its name is a combination of fly and flimflam, another word for insincere. This bug is called the trickster Pokemon, so it makes sense. It can be found hiding somewhere in Sanafelt Desert, causing mischief with its earth-bending powers. This would be a particularly rare encounter that would show up late game, but the question still remains. Why does it have a hole in its chest? Well, it has something to do with Airblin's battle gimmick, so let's talk about that first. The gimmick used to be Mega Evolution in OG Erolenis, and I considered bringing it back along with another gimmick for this version. In fact, I was originally going to introduce these in the last episode, but the Team Blitz animation took higher priority. That episode helped me realize how disjointed and self-indulgent things got, and I wanted the project to stand on its own. So I scrapped Megas entirely in order to focus on what will be my main gimmick for Airblin. A long time ago, two powerful Pokemon wreaked havoc on the region. These Pokemon fought for their two homes, properly referred to as kingdoms. Their sense of honor and duty were passed down through mounds of crystals, ones that contained the same power that the kingdoms once had. The people of Erblin learned to use this power for their benefit. They could use these crystals on their own, however some took it a step further and crafted specialized gear for their partners. Both methods are readily used in present day, only now it is known as Noble Blessing. So that's what my gimmick is from a story perspective, but what about gameplay? In a nutshell, it's basically Dollar Tree Z moves, but with passive buffs. When you use Noble Blessing, your Pokemon will gain a set of stat changes based on the crowning jewel it's holding. There are three kinds: Mighty, Resilient, and Quick, and they grant you the following changes. Your Pokemon will also have access to a Marvelous move, which has the same impact as Z moves, but a bit weaker to balance out the passives. The effects will go away once you switch out or use your Marvelous move, and you can only Noble Bless once per battle. The final note on this gimmick are the special gear I mentioned. These are called Royal Emblems, and they function identically to Megastones. Certain Pokemon have access to these along with a Noble Form and Marvelous move, and our friend Flimfly happens to be one of them. Doug, the suitcase. I bet y'all were waiting for this. This is a Birch Emerald, a special kind of jewel that Flimfly absolutely adores. And I don't blame them, this is a pretty looking gem. I heard that the streaks are as bright green as the leaves of Viridian forests. Huh? Oh, sure, you can have it. My idea for this form was simple. Fill in the missing blank. Whereas Megas focus on elevating a mon's design in general, all the noble forms will have their respective item fused with them as they transform. So inserting the birch emerald into its chest will cause Flimfly to mutate and gain a more equine body. Yep, it's a literal horsefly. I seriously could not resist the opportunity, but that's not all. Bits and pieces of the emerald found their way onto the design as a result of its ability to control minerals. It takes full advantage of its trickster motif and becomes part dark type. But not just any old trickster, oh no. I'm talking about the one and only Loki from Norse mythos. This person has changed into a horse and a fly on separate instances, and both happen to be represented in this Fakemon. They're also associated with the Birkenan root, which translates to birch in English. That's why its emblem is called the birch emerald. Colors are identical to its standard form, but with the addition of the emerald stripes. These stripes, along with the emerald itself, are based on a trebuchet emerald. I was honestly looking for something to fill its chest with, and I thought this looked cool. Flimfly. Noble form. The trickster Pokemon. A bug dark type. Enhanced by the birch emerald, Flimfly's pranks become far more catastrophic. It is said that the streaks in its stones entangle the region into despair. Okay, now that we got this bad boy out the way, let's talk gameplay. Again. Not only does it switch types, but it gains a new ability, appropriately called Sly Fly. This decreases priority on dark-type moves, but also gives them the same effect as Pursuit, allowing them to act right as the target switches out. It thinks of more supervillain-esque plots, and this cunningness will hopefully allow for more interesting strategies. While in its noble form, it can use the exclusive move Trickster's Tangle. For this, it uses its sand manipulation to trap its foes. This also makes it deal ground-type damage. So, we have a little bug who is stronger than he looks, is based on Loki, and has a noble form. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. This is the first legendary for the Erolenis region. Only a minor legendary though. I wouldn't personally give a noble form to one of the major legends. This is kinda how I expected Zacian and Zamazenta to work, as opposed to sharing the same BST as Arceus. But in any case, I hope you like Flimfly and its alternate form. Huh, I just realized I made 2 bugs with form changes. I did not plan that, I swear to drunk. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Next time I'm going to cover some other types I'm lacking, but for now, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more of Erolenis, feel free to check out my socials. Links are in the description. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified of future uploads. This has been RedParagonG, and until next time, remember folks, may the light of sirens guide you on your quest through life. See ya!